everyone, and thanks for joining me on Profit with a Plan podcast. This is where you can get some great ideas to create your most profitable small business. Just so you know, financial planning isn't only for those that have a lot of money or run big companies. A workable financial plan is for us everyday small business owners and professionals that want to keep more of our hard-earned money and make great financial decisions. So join me, Marcia Reiner, your certified financial planner and professional financial strategist, each Tuesday for some smart ideas that can add more profits to your bottom line. I'm really passionate about working with successful business owners who are working their ass off every day. And this may sound familiar to you. They're investing everything they have into their business only to feel that although they're making good money, they don't have a lot to show for it. They're not sure that they'll be okay since they don't work for a big company any longer with a big pension or retirement. They are self-employed after all, small business owners. I help them gain clarity, certainty, and control over their money so that they can increase their profits and, more importantly, bring home more money. So, if you know of anybody that may be curious, please share my podcast or let's chat. Book a brief call with me to see how we can work together and create greater profits in your business. My scheduler is calendly.com/Marcia, MARCIA, -16. So let's get on with today's podcast. And we're talking all about processes today and processes that profit. So, why are processes so important to your profits? First of all, they keep you on track for your goals. So working with processes such as how many calls you make and how many clients you meet with and how many, numbers that you produce or how much your profits are, these are all processes that you do, and they're so essential for creating in your business so you can track what you're doing and how your goals are working. A perfect process actually is tracking your calls. How many calls do you make and what kind of return do you get on those calls so that way you're seeing how much profits you're making based on the action or activity that you're doing. It is a simple process, but people don't think of it as processes. And we want to make sure that everything you're doing in your business is process oriented. The more processes that you can have in place, the better you'll be able to track how your growth is going for your business. Another process that's important to your profits is automation. Automation, we're not talking about a conveyor belt there, but there's only so many hours in the day. And if you're doing every single thing in your business, every time you touch it, you're going to tap out at a certain time, right? That's the one thing we can't add is hours into our day. There's only 24 and you've got to sleep. Otherwise, your brain can't reset and get going. So anything you can do in your business to automate and make sure that it's doing it while you're sleeping or allow you to focus on something else, that could increase your profits. Automation could be attached to your marketing. It could be attached to your accounting. It could be attached to your systems that you do every day. That maybe it's a client touch that is done for you on a calendared time automatically, and you don't have to physically type the email or send off the thank you card, or maybe it's even as simple as a birthday card to know to tell your client that you're thinking about them on their day. And that can be done automatically, therefore shifting you into your most profitable time and energy into your business, and you're pushing the other stuff off into automation. There's so many things that can be automated, and it can really, if you do this well, can increase your profits. There's also processes of hiring mini-yous or mini-me's. Again, because our time is so limited, if you could bring on somebody and have them do the things that you do on a regular basis, that could push that small value time to somebody else at a lower price, and therefore increasing your profits, because you are the most valuable person in your business and somebody else can be doing that lower end stuff. There's another way that you can talk about the processes and how they're so important to your profits, is managing risk. And we as business owners often come in and don't think about the risk that we're taking by working with our clients or what we're doing, but we take all that risk and put it on our own shoulders. If you were to protect yourself by having the right contract designed, and the contract is a standard template, you could be automating and managing that risk at the same time. But it's more along the way of how you can take that risk off of your shoulders and transfer it to somebody else through an insurance or a protection package, or just the clarity in what you're doing, so you're not having to put out fires all the time. And that takes away from you bringing in more profits. So managing your risk would be another process that you could do to and that could increase your profits. And then the final piece that I thought of today was creating your exit. And when you create a bunch of processes and make it all duplicatable that maybe you necessarily don't have to be involved in, then the value of your business increases for the sole purpose of, if I wanted to buy your business sometime down the road, everything's set in stone, and all the processes and steps and things that I would need to learn. Kind of like a franchise. When you buy a franchise, they've got all the steps and processes that you need to do to work your business, and you're buying somebody else's idea. You could take your business with all of your processes, and when you sell it, that person coming in can just step into your business and continue running it. Your clients will love it, the buyer will love it, and you'll love it because your business will be more profitable and more valuable to the buyer, therefore giving you more money. So what are your processes? I found a couple that I thought we'd talk about a little bit today. Time management is a huge process that many of us don't manage efficiently. And time management is that, what do you do every day, and what's your most valuable time doing? So, and that didn't sound right. Where are you getting paid the most for your time, and you should be focusing on that. So it could even be, how many phone calls are you making, and when is the best time to make those calls? That's time management. Do you start early and work late? We're self-employed business owners. We're always seem to be working. But managing your time and understanding the processes that you specifically have to do or your staff has to do will allow you to be able to do more things. So it's a perfect process that I think we need to grab onto, and every business owner needs to have strong time management skills and strengths that they can pass on to their staff, as well as manage their own time well. Again, as I mentioned earlier today, there's only so many hours in the day. So if you can manage your time, then you can make more money because you're spending the time on the most profitable actions that you're taking. Another way is client acquisition. So the processes you have in place or that you can improve to increase your profits is in the acquisition steps and strategies that you use. Maybe it's even client retention that you're adding on to that acquisition side. Because if you're spending all your time finding brand new clients, then you have to start at square one each time. you could have client retention processes and steps in place to keep the clients that you have and have them repurchase from you. Therefore, you have raving fans that are buying again rather than getting new clients. But I think in both of those, you need to have a procedure that you follow when you go after the client. Marketing is a procedure that you're following for your marketing and pieces and growth for the clients. Is you're getting the client because you're doing these steps and these processes. I hope you're seeing that the process word is actually in everything that we do. But if you can create an awesome client acquisition process, and even deeper, you can have an awesome client retention process, your business is going to grow more and you're going to make more money on it. Another process that we have are pretty standard, and funny enough, they're called SOPs, so they're standard operating processes. These are the things that we do every day in our business that could be repeated and should be repeated. And if we have them documented in a format called SOP, then you can often pass those off to the mini-Us or your staff or the people that you're hiring, or even off-site folks. You can pass these pieces off because you've already put your brain power into a process that is repeatable. Your client onboarding is a SOP, a standard operating procedure. The things that you do, that you walk the client through when you're bringing them in, and managing the client system throughout the relationship. If you are a service professional, then these are absolutely necessary to have in place. So when the client comes into your practice, what do you do? When the client has its first appointment, what do you do? When you're in between the first appointment and the second appointment, what do you do? And if you have these processes written out, it makes it repeatable, and it makes it easy for again, to sell the practice in the future, to hire mini-Us, to manage your risk, because you're putting everything in place, and it allows you to automate these processes that you do. Another process that can increase your profits, and I have to say this is probably one of my favorites, but it's a money process. What do you do with your money that is a process and a system and a method so that you're managing your money efficiently and effectively, and for growth and for retention? And I mean, these are all processes we should have in place, and having the money being my bailiwick, because all of these really just focus on money as well. But if you have a solid money process and you understand your money, you're going to be able to grow your money. And it's growing the company as well, because everything you touch in your company revolves around money. So I highly suggest getting some money processes in place. Speaking of growth processes, I would absolutely wager a bet that you're in your business to grow your business, right? Even if you're winding down in your business, there's still got to be some growth in there so you could sell it. But you should have some growth processes. And that's a lot of planning processes. So if we want to get to the end of the road, what are the steps and processes you're going to use to get you to the end of that path? And you're using a map, you're using partners, you're using tools, you're using all of these processes. And if you put it down in a system and you put it down on a standard operating procedure or a plan, then you're going to be able to get to that growth goal easier, because you've got a process in place. All right, so I'd like to take a step kind of back to the money process. And why do you need a money process, and really what is it? So knowing your money to grow your money is a tagline that a friend of mine gave me, and I just love it. And I'm actually incorporating it into everything that I do, because you need to know and understand your money to grow it. Just like you need to know and understand your business to grow it. And so the more time you can get into your money and find out what the processes are. How are you bringing money in is a process. How are you spending your money is a process. Who are you hiring to help you with growing your money? Because again, we've spoken a lot about time. There's only so many hours in the day that you can work. So who are you hiring in your business to help you with certain processes that are not as profitable, right? So you're passing the lower pieces off. But understanding your money is really going to allow you to grow your money, and it is all a process and a plan and a system that you're using along with strategies. They're all processes that you can use in your business to make more money. Now, how often should you manage your process? And I spoke about this a few weeks earlier. You should be doing daily activities. You should be doing weekly activities. You should be reviewing it monthly and quarterly. And so if we bring it out even farther, you really can just take these for the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and repeat it in the next quarter. Just like in the monthly, you're going to repeat the weekly and the daily. So this is something that you should be doing all the time. Understanding and consciously making great decisions on your money so that you can know your money to grow your money. The other thing I think is really important is understanding your ROI, and I use this term quite frequently. Every single penny that goes out of your business should have an investment tied to it, and it should have some sort of growth on it. So if you're just throwing money at things in your business that aren't turning a profit for you, then we absolutely need to talk, because every penny you spend in your business must have a return on that investment. But it's a process, right? It's a system that if you're doing marketing and you have a process and system in place to understand how that marketing is tracking and what kind of return you're getting from the marketing and how many new clients you got from the marketing, then that's a process. And again, you have to have these processes in your business to make it simplified, to make it grow, to potentially automate it, to hand it off to somebody, and then to really just truly make your business more profitable. And then the final piece on the money process is, I hate to say it to everybody, but we got to trim the fat. We spend a lot of money on things that we really don't necessarily need at that time in our life. Now, I'm not saying don't reward yourself and don't buy things that are, that you'd like to have. But if we're in a position of trying to grow a business or make more profits, which is the topic I'm already always talking about, is how do we profit more in our business? Sometimes we need to trim the fat. But unless you understand what you have coming in and what you have going out, you'll never be in a position to even see the fat that you need to trim. So again, it's a process. And I want you to really understand the process of your money and the money processes that you have in your business to be able to see the things that need to change and that can change. So how do we use these processes in our business to make more money? I go back to an old shampoo commercial: wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. If we do something on a consistent basis and we're doing it all the time, then those processes we can get faster and better at, and we can make more money. If it's talking to a client and it's a client process, maybe we're making better closes with them because we're analyzing the process that we use when we close the sale. Maybe it's a process that you're passing off because you got so good at it that you could teach someone and someone else could do it really fast for you, which is in turn automation. Automation can take you away from the grind of your business or the parts that you shouldn't be doing that can be automated, and putting yourself back into the business where you're making the most money from. The high value, the high money action pieces that you do should be all that you're focusing on, and then pass it off or automate the things that aren't necessarily the highest value of the money, of the business. So if your highest value is closing the sale and managing the client, then that's where you should be focused, where accounting should be handed off at a lower cost. Or the marketing piece. Marketing's great, but maybe you should have a professional do the marketing so you get a higher return on that investment and will allow you to spend the greatest time, which is knee to knee with the client. Also, the processes can make you so much more money in your exit strategy if you have profitable processes in place. I will be more apt to spend more money on your business because you've got systems in place, you've got client systems, you've got marketing systems, you've got employee systems, you've got everything in place that just will make your business more sellable in the future. And I have to say, if you don't have an exit strategy now, then get one, because exit strategies take a minimum of 10 years to implement properly. And I always consult or coach my clients: the day you open the doors for your business is the day you better decide what you're going to do with that business at the end. And everything you do in between is another leg or another tool or another system or process that will allow you to sell your business in the future. So I hope you enjoyed our conversation today, and it gave you a few ideas to put into your business that will make you more profitable. So thank you so much for listening. Next week's show is on focusing on what you can control. Many of my clients from my previous investing life would always come to me and say, Marcia, oh my gosh, how come that you can't do this or you can't do that? And I would always go back and talk to them about focusing on what we can control and making smart decisions on that, because there's so much that we can't control. So we'll talk about that one next week. I hope you'll come back for that. I'd love to hear your questions, feedback, ideas for future shows. We're getting ready to start having guests on the show. I've worked out the bugs, I think. And you can reach out to me on any of my social channels: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram at Bella Financial or Marcia Reiner. Or you can just go to my website. It's in the process of being redesigned thanks to some incredible partners I've got working on. But hopefully by the time you get there, it'll be up and running. So don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, please. I don't want you to miss any future podcasts, and I really don't want to be the best kept secret. So share me with your friends. If you do follow me, I'll be very happy to give you a gift. So when I see that you've followed me on my podcast, I will send to you my Get Financially Organized workbook. So you can catch Profit with a Plan on your favorite podcast players, Podbean, iTunes, iHeart, Google Play, and Stitches. Looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. And until then, make your plans and profit with them.